and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed to this channel, if you're not liking the videos, I don't know what you're doing. We're killing it lately. Home run calls of the day last night, again, nailed it again with Bo Bichette. Looking to keep it on a roll. And then I do offer premium content that's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use in building my own DFS lineups, my power rankings, my cheat sheet, my data sheets, all of that fun stuff. Consistently giving good plays over there as well. I think my Patrons can back me up as far as that's concerned. So, really happy to be getting some good feedback there. Looking forward to providing you guys with some further valuable content. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. As always, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. As always, we'd like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. Figure out the pitchers we want to play first on the slate, and then we'll get into bats. And we do that by sorting my sheet by K rate because it's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts, and the top guy on the slate today is going to be Shohei Ohtani, taking on the New York Yankees. 32.2% K rate overall, a 13.6 swing strike rate, 40.2% K rate against righties, and a 26.3% K rate against lefties. Really, really good stuff across the board, and specifically against right-handed hitting with that 40.2% K rate. That is a very impressive number. It's a 61 innings pitch sample size. And he's taking on a New York Yankees lineup tonight that is extremely right-handed heavy. So you tend to think this could be a tremendous matchup for him. The problem is it's in New York as far as Yankee Stadium is concerned. It is not one of the friendlier pitching environments in baseball. Pulling up the chart that I always like to show you guys as far as Yankee Stadium is concerned. You can see there's a lot of green going on out there as far as home runs given up. And it is 95 degrees with 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to center. So that's a little bit scary, but if you're striking guys out and they're not hitting the ball, you don't have to worry about it going out of the yard. And I think Ohtani's definitely in a situation where you can do that today. He does have a walk issue with 15.2% walk rate. So, of course, that could add up the pitch count and not quite get you to as many fantasy points as you'd like. But I think he's in a really good spot here taking on his Yankee squad when you're breaking down his numbers and how he shakes up. He's 9.5 on FanDuel. He's 8.7 over here on DraftKings. Looking at his most recent performance, you can see he had 9 strikeouts. And as far as his walks, he only had 2. Only 1 earned run, and then 6 hits allowed. But solid performance. He was up to 105 pitches in that one as well, taking on San Francisco squad. And I think this is... everything kind of matches up for Ohtani. So I don't know what the ownership's going to break out as being on him, but I have a feeling it's not going to be quite as high as the next guy we're going to talk about, Nola, taking on the Miami Marlins. 28.4% K overall, a 12% swinging strike rate. 29.1% K rate against righties and a 27.7% K rate against lefties. Very good stuff across the board. The ground ball, fly ball stuff's good. Doesn't have a walk issue quite as bad as Ohtani. And he's taking on a Miami Marlins squad tonight that we definitely like to target. Once again, a great hitting environment, 95 degrees with 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to center in Philadelphia. So that's a little bit, unfortunate. But besides that, Nola definitely one of the top options on the slate. We do have quite a few spots here. Pretty much every game that I'm looking at right now, up until the 8 o'clock games, have some sort of rain concern, so keep an eye on that. I don't think anything's going to be too heavy, but if it's a situation where we're concerned about delays, that can, of course, affect your starting pitching. So keep an eye on that. You can follow me over on Twitter at KJK_DFS to try to tweet out as many updates as I can about that kind of thing. So Luis Garcia taking on the Baltimore Orioles, 26.2% K overall, a 12.6 swing strike rate, 30.2% K rate against righties, and a 21.6% K rate against lefties. Definitely is a lot more solid against right-handed hitting. But for the most part, pretty solid all around. And he's taking on a Baltimore Orioles squad that we really don't care about all too much as far as a threat. They had a big night last night, but they only have a 3.16 implied run total in this one. And I think Garcia could also be a viable option. I tend to think he's not going to be quite as high on my list as his other two guys. I'll have to do some bigger digging. And, of course, I always do like to look at the Vegas data and Vegas props and all that kind of fun stuff. But overall, I'd say he's probably third on the list right now for me. And we have another guy with a big K percentage in Joe Musgrove, 25.9% K overall, 12.8 swing strike rate, 27.2% K rate against righties, and a 24.6% K rate against lefties. Really good stuff across the board, and taking on a Cincinnati Reds squad tonight that can definitely offer some good Ks. It's in the Great American Small Park, as we like to call it, in the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, which is a little bit less than ideal as far as the pitching environment. But you can see there's a trend here. We've been talking about all these pitchers, and they all are kind of in not the best pitching environment. So if all the top pitchers aren't in the best pitching environment, what are you going to do? You got to play one of them. So Joe Musgrove is definitely going to be another one of those options today, taking on the Cincinnati squad. 8.7 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 9.2. So definitely no issues with going to him. Bailey Ober taking on the Chicago White Sox, a team that we can definitely go ahead and target. He's had some very clear splits as far as righties and lefties. He's been very good against righties, not so good against lefties. So we do prefer to target him against very right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible. And the Chicago White Sox have a little bit of a blended lineup, and they have a 4.74 implied run total, so that's a little scary. Minnesota bullpen's also not the greatest in the world either, so I think that probably has something to do with the implied run total, but I'm not too sure I'm all that interested in Bailey Ober. Domingo Germán could be an interesting option, taking on a Los Angeles Angels team. Another splitsy guy. He's really good against righties for the most part, but not so good against lefties. And the Angels do have quite a few righties in their lineup. They have two big bats in Ohtani and Jared Walsh as lefties, but other than that, a lot of righties in there. Domingo Germán comes in at 6.5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 8.5, so he's priced at a very friendly discount on FanDuel specifically. If you want to play him there, I wouldn't call you crazy at all. You can put in some bigger bats. Not going to be my top option on the slate, but that's a very friendly price tag. Dylan Cease taking on the Minnesota Twins is another guy with some K upside here. 24.3% K overall, 27.3% K rating against righties, and a 21.7% K rating against lefties. Taking on a Minnesota squad tonight. He is a favorite, as mentioned, a 132 favorite, where they do have quite a few strikeouts in their lineup. You know, whether or not he's going to be quite as good as these other guys, I'm not sure. We have Chris Bassett taking on the Texas Rangers as well, who's in a great matchup. Steven Matz taking on Seattle. Not the most exciting option in the world, but Seattle's a team that we do tend to like to target. He's going to be on a pitch count, though. So 60-pitch live session Thursday, and I have a feeling he's not going to be too stretched out. So it's kind of a no from me. We have Max Fried returning off the IL as well. That's not going to be the most appealing spot. The last two guys I'd probably be looking to on this slate would have to be Chris Bassett and David Peterson here. Chris Bassett taking on the Texas Rangers, a team that strikes out a lot. He's actually the most expensive pitcher on the slate as far as DraftKings is concerned. Comes in at 10.5, priced up above Aaron Nola, which is crazy. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I mean, the guy's been good, but not that good, so that's kind of a crazy price tag. Over on FanDuel, is priced at 9.8. I mean, the Texas Rangers have been striking out a lot, so I think he's a great play. David Peterson taking on Atlanta is a team that's been striking out a lot against the left-handed pitching as well. He does have a bit of a walk issue. 20.3% carried against righties and a 30.2% carried against lefties, though. And when he's on, he can definitely have some upside. I am kind of a David Peterson guy, so a little bit of bias, I guess, as far as him winning me money in the past. And I just like picking him when I don't think anyone else is going to be on him. And traditionally speaking here, they have had their issues against lefties as far as the strikeout rate is concerned. So, you know, on a site like FanDuel where you're really worried about just those strikeouts, comes in at 7.7 on FanDuel, he's 7.5 on DraftKings. Could be an interesting option. Definitely some better options, I think, on the slate that we've talked about so far as clear-cut options, but could be looking at him today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill, interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst guy on the slate today is going to be Jordan Holloway taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. The hard contact stuff's not the best. Slugging against both sides of the plate has actually been pretty limited, though, and he's been giving a lot of fly balls to lefties. So it seems like he's a guy that you really want to target with left-handed bats at this current moment. And the Philadelphia Phillies definitely do have a great left-handed bat in Bryce Harper in the middle of the order. They got Odubel or Herrera at the top of the order. Those two guys would definitely be my favorite options. Then you can run out your stacks with Segura, Hoskins, JT Realmuto, Angel McCutcheon if you want to go there today. I tend to think it's going to be only the lefties. We're still waiting on Vegas lines. It'll be interesting to see what Vegas is expecting these guys to score because, of course, that could, you know, influence me to go to them a little more, and then we'll dig into the pitch data. But Philadelphia, a decent stack today. Matt Harvey taking on the Houston Astros, a guy we definitely want to target. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff terrible against both sides of the plate. He gives up a 5.67 slugging to righties, a 5.51 slugging to lefties. Really bad against both sides of the plate. The ground ball, fly ball stuff is a lot better against righties, though, I will say. So just keep that in mind. The lefties are the ones we're really going to want to be playing today. And the Astros definitely have some good ones in guys like Michael Brantley, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Abraham Toro. You know, specifically Brantley, Alvarez, and Tucker are going to be great plays today. And then, you know, we can definitely still target those righties, Altuve, Yulieski Gurriel, Carlos Correa. It's going to be a tremendous spot for the Houston Astros today, and the Baltimore Orioles bullpen is terrible as well. So like them. Vladimir Guerrero is taking on the San Diego Padres, similar to what we just discussed, except for he's a lot better against lefties. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff's terrible. Goes about 4.78 slugging to righties, 46.3% hard contact rate Against lefties, it dips all the way down to 328, so that's something to take note of. But these righties on the San Diego Padres team are going to be in great spots today. Really, the whole team. I'm still willing to target the lefties, but we know guys like Tommy Pham, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, all going to be at the top of this order. Elite bats in Tatis and Machado. Like those guys a lot. Then you can definitely put in Cronenworth, Trent Grisham, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers. You know, I said I don't like the lefties quite as much, but you got guys on base. You're forced to throw to these guys, and these guys all have some talent. So I'm willing to definitely target both sides. The righties would be my preferred options in that lineup, though, for sure. Marty Perez taking on the Kansas City Royals. Lefty that's really been struggling against right-handed power, so you got to target these righties. 450 slugging, 342 WOBA. Taking on this Kansas City Royals squad tonight with guys like Whit Merrifield, Jorge Soler, Carlos Santana, Salvador Perez, Hanser Alberto, Emmanuel Rivera, Hunter Dozier, Michael Taylor, all up and down this order. A lineup that's designed really to hit left-handed pitching quite well. I mean, all these guys that I've listed are better against left-handed pitching for the most part, so definitely going to like the Kansas City Royals stack. They're on the road. Looks like another good hitting weather environment. 84 degrees, 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, so like for them. Colby Allen taking on the Oakland Athletics is a guy that we definitely like targeting with some right-handed power. 385 slugging, 306 WOBA. Good, not the best in the ground ball, fly ball stuff. Oakland is a lineup that is designed to hit left-handed pitching very well. It's in the Oakland A Coliseum, which is a little unfortunate because it's pulling up the chart here as far as the hitting environment and stuff's concerned. Not quite as friendly of a ballpark as you'd like to see. A lot of red going on there as far as home runs and all that stuff, but when you give up this much slugging, you're facing a lineup that can really smash some lefties. There's still going to be viable plays. Guys like Ramon Laureano, Matt Chapman, Jed Lowry, Chad Pinder, Sean Murphy, Elvis Andrus. You got to be having some interest in today. So I definitely like the Oakland Athletics right-handed power. Justice Sheffield taking on the Toronto Blue Jays is a guy that has really good ground ball, fly ball stuff, although he does give up a lot of slugging to right-handed hitting, a 464 slugging, 361 WOBA, only a 19.2% K rate, and he has to take on one of the best right-handed lineups in baseball in the Toronto Blue Jays. So 6.32 implied run total for these Blue Jays. Looks like there's going to be 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing from right to left. That doesn't really help our bats all too much. 73 degrees. So not really the best hitting environment compared to some of these other spots we've been talking about, but a 6.32 implied run total. And these guys are just loaded with talent and loaded with right-handed bats. Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, George Springer, Randall Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel, Espinal, and Riley Adams. Expected to have all righties in their lineup. I don't really like targeting heavy ground ball guys because even if they're hitting the ball hard, it might not be adding up to home runs and that kind of thing, but also, part of stacking is having a lineup that can turn the lineup over, consistently getting guys on base, being able to get up again, that kind of thing. And you're always going to have that with the Blue Jays. So, they're a good stack today. Maybe not quite as good as I'd like to see it if they were facing a guy that had some serious fly ball issues, but still got to like him. Dylan Cease against Minnesota, guy that I'm not really looking to target all that much, to be honest. If I'm targeting him, it's with right-handed power, and the Twins definitely have some clear-cut guys as far as that's concerned, most notably Josh Johnson, Nelson Cruz at the top of the order. But other than that, I'm not going to be too excited to target him, to be honest. David Peterson against Atlanta, we had mentioned maybe targeting him as a pitcher, but you can also target him with bats for sure. He does give up quite a bit of slugging to righties. Does have a pretty good ground ball, fly ball rate, so very similar to Justice Sheffield, but if you want to go to these righties on the Atlanta Braves, as far as digging into pitch data and stuff, I'm definitely going to look at that. But Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Heredia, Almonte, Contreras, these righties, maybe going to them today might not be a terrible idea. Mike Minor taking on Boston's been a guy that's been pretty good across the board, but the ground ball, fly ball, and hard contact stuff against righties really isn't all that good. The Boston Red Sox have been a pretty hot offense, and they do have a 6.15 implied run total. So expect to do some damage here against Minor. So Enrique Hernandez, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Hunter Renfrow, Christian Vasquez, Michael Chavis, all that power against those right-handed power bats. And then, of course, you can throw in Verdugo, Devers to get different. Once Minor gets out of the game, they got to go to the bullpen. Maybe these guys can even take him deep lefty-lefty if he hangs one over the plate type of deal. He is really good against left-handed hitting, but you got to get different with your lineup construction, and that could be a good way to do it. Steven Matz taking on Seattle is a guy that we talked about returning off the IL. He's going to be limited on pitching. The Toronto Blue Jays bullpen really hasn't been that good. He gives up a 49 slugging to righties, a 344 WOBA. So this actually could be a sneaky spot for the Seattle Mariners offense. Because, Matz isn't even on a full leash. They're going to have to go to the bullpen if they can get to him early and then bring in some of the more non-talented arms from the Toronto Blue Jays. Could be an intriguing stack today. Mitch Haniger, Ty France, Luis Torrens, Dylan Moore against those lefties. Tom Murphy has a bunch of power against lefties. And then J.P. Crawford, Kyle Seager at the top of the order, of course, are lefties that you could throw in your lineup to round out your stacks. Have some pretty good talent as well. Seager, arguably the best hitter in the lineup, so no issues with you playing him on lefty-lefty, to complete that Seattle stack. And if they go to the bullpen, you're going to be looking pretty good if he gets those right-handed heavy matchups. And then once we get down past them, we're dealing with some splits for sure. We already mentioned Herman taking on the Angels. It's the lefty, so you're really just looking to play Jared Walsh. We can't play Ohtani today because he's going to be pitching. Luis Garcia taking on Baltimore. Once again, his issues are against lefties if you want to play some Baltimore Orioles lefties, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff's pretty good. And the same thing applies for Joe Musgrove and Aaron Nola. So those guys, if you're looking to play bats against them, get contrarian in tournaments and play some low and stacks, you're going to want to play the lefties. So lefties from Cincinnati Reds, Jesse Winker, Joey Votto, Akiyama, Tucker Barnhart. If you're going to look into that stack, that's who I would probably be going with. Luis Garcia on the Orioles, I'd be going with the lefties. Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander. Those are really the only ones. So that actually, he matches up really well with this lineup. And then the last guy that I was talking about was Aaron Nola against the Miami Marlins. The Marlins really don't have any left-handed hitters either. They just have Jesus Sanchez and Jazz Chisholm. So he matches up pretty well. So you can kind of see as we're talking along here, there's certain matchups that are going to be favoring the pitchers. So even the best pitchers on the slate, and they don't have a matchup that really lines up with their weaknesses. So not really looking to target them all too much. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start giving you guys my home run call of the day. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Hunter Renfrow taking on Mike Minor. I'd mentioned his hard contact issues against right-handed hitting. A 415 slugging up. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good either. And when breaking down his repertoire, really breaks down really good against his pitches as far as Renfrow's concerned. On average, throws about a 91, 92 mile-an-hour fastball, and Hunter Renfrow features a 350 ISO with a 319 WOBA against that pitch. And the secondary pitches really reliant on the slider changeup combination, and Renfrow crushes those as well. A 522 ISO against the slider with a 351 WOBA, and then against the changeup, it doesn't get much worse with a 283 ISO and a 365 WOBA. Love this spot for Hunter Renfrow. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Hunter Renfrow. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to check out the KJK DFS premium package, link below in the description, all the other links down below. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.